This is Paint the Night, 1.5 million individual light sources, a cast of 76 performers, 8 floats moving in precise synchronization every night down the same streets and corridors Walt Disney himself walked on decades ago. It's generally one of the most exciting and impressive things Disney has ever put in front of guests. But despite this, it's going away for the foreseeable future on August 20th. We'll be breaking down the why and then exploring what the future of Disneyland's nighttime parade experiences might look like. It's obvious why Paint the Night is a fan favorite. Its energetic soundtrack, dazzling technology, vibrant costumes, and high energy floats make it a must see every night at Disneyland. And from a nostalgic point of view, it's the spiritual successor to the beloved Main Street Electrical Parade. And just like how the Main Street Electrical Parade frequently does, it's going away again. And as of right now, Disney hasn't made any announcements about what comes next for Disneyland's nighttime entertainment lineup after August 20th. As usual, Halloween and Christmas entertainment will take over for the remainder of the year, but no replacement parade or show has been publicly announced after that. If you've been wondering what will fill the slot moving forward, you're not alone. So when can we do this again is now a legitimate question, and by looking at some of the past decisions Disney has made for its nighttime parades, we can figure out the answer. Because what comes next will likely be shaped by everything Paint the Night has taught Disney about what nighttime parades can and can't do well at this scale. Before Paint the Night started in Anaheim, Hong Kong Disneyland ran its own version in 2014 for its 9th anniversary, and the special feature that made that version remarkable was unfortunately discontinued 14 months after its debut. The original Hong Kong production included a show-stop experience. The entire parade would halt along the route, and guests who purchased special infrared-enabled paintbrushes could change the color of the performers' LED costumes in real time. It was a uniquely interactive innovation, but turned out to be operationally problematic. Halting the massive kinetic parade in the middle of the park's central corridor created guest flow bottlenecks and led to performer exhaustion and strain injuries due to costume weight and lack of momentum to help manage it. This interactive experience ended in November 2015. This is important to mention because the showstop lesson is exactly the kind of operational reality check that helped the Anaheim version of the parade. This was a technically impressive concept, but unfortunately wasn't sustainable in the long run. The Anaheim premiere on May 22, 2015 for Disneyland's 60th Diamond celebration went quite differently than anyone planned. The park's main gates closed before 2 p.m. due to capacity concerns. The Esplanade and security checkpoints reached very high levels. And here's the interesting part. Inside the park, whole lands were essentially ghost towns because guests who stalked out parade positions hours in advance naturally stayed in place. This was a key event because it forced Disney to completely rethink its crowd management strategy for high-demand events moving forward. Then in 2018, the parade moved to Disney California Adventure, and again it was met with new logistical challenges. 30-foot Frozen Fractals float, which is the tallest in the whole parade, couldn't clear the overhead wires of the then operational red car trolley system. It was cut from the lineup entirely. The Little Mermaid float had a similar issue, so sections were physically shortened for safe clearance. Disney substituted an Incredibles unit to compensate for the missing Frozen float, timed to the opening of Pixar Pier and the release of Incredibles 2. Later, we'll get into how the Imagineering for these floats has some genuinely unexpected origins that you probably will never have guessed. If you enjoy this kind of analysis and exploring Disneyland as a living, evolving place, make sure to hit like and subscribe to help support the channel. The Hong Kong version ran over 740,000 individual light sources. Anaheim more than doubled that to 1.5 million, with every single unit being individually addressable, which means the parade's control system is able to activate every single one of these as the show moves down Disneyland. The technology that makes this possible is called linear timecode, or LTC. It's an audio-based timing signal, basically a master clock embedded in the show's audio track that keeps the 76 performers multiple floats, and full musical score in sync simultaneously. GPS tracking monitors the exact real-time position of each float, which allows operators to adjust pacing dynamically on the fly. Also notice the drum on the float as it passes. This is a deliberate homage to the original drum unit that led the Main Street Electrical Parade from 1972 on. Now, the Cars float. Mac is 54 feet long, the longest vehicle in the procession. Inside the trailer, Disney constructed a three-dimensional display from 27,000 suspended, individually addressable glowing orbs. Interestingly, creative inspiration for this structure was large-scale three-dimensional LED art structures from Burning Man, the annual festival held in the Nevada desert. A subcultural art form that originated in the desert made its way to Main Street, USA. Behind all of this are the 76 cast members that carry the parade twice every evening. The original LED embedded costume designs have heavy battery packs that produced high injury rates from the weight alone. The 2025 return redesign made the costumes lighter, yet produced the same visual output and drastically reduced physical strain. This is the exact same operational reality that Hong Kong faced with its own version, with Disney finally making the necessary improvements that can make or break the show. So after all that Imagineering and investment, why does Disney keep ending it and bringing it back? This is what we'll get into next, and the answer is more deliberate than you might realize. First, let's do the operational math around what it costs to constantly run this show. 76 performers every single night, a full technical crew consisting of safety spotters, float mechanics, lighting operators, and crowd control cast members. The energy needed to charge and cycle 1.5 million LED sources, corridor shutdowns that greatly impact guest flow through the park. Add all this together and you get an experience that becomes difficult to sustain in the long run indefinitely. Also, what Disney is doing with Paint the Night is a strategy they first built around home video, the Vault. By retiring a high demand experience and returning it only for milestone moments like the 60th and 70th anniversaries, they don't just manage the operational cost, they also manufacture urgency and artificial scarcity. The end date becomes a booking driver for tickets and vacations. The parade's absence later is part of what makes it so valuable. And while Anaheim has been running Paint the Night through the 70th anniversary, Disney has already built the next generation parade in Orlando. Disney Starlight, Dream the Night Away, opened at Magic Kingdom on July 20th, 2025, and was designed from the ground up, incorporating the operational lessons of Paint the Night. 30 to 40 fewer performers, more energy efficient solid state lighting. It's been built to balance the need for park magic with the realities of major operational overhead. It's essentially what a decade of Paint the Night operations data has made possible. This is important because it tells us Disney is thinking about the next generation of nighttime entertainment. Not necessarily more ambitious, but more efficient and sustainable for the long run. So Disney has made no public announcement about what follows Paint the Night in Anaheim after August 20th. What are the possible scenarios Disney is looking at heading into 2027? Scenario A is the one we've seen happen multiple times already. Paint the Night goes into the vault and returns for the 75th or 80th anniversary, or maybe some other special limited time event. The parade sits in storage while guests wait, and making us wait is intentional. Scenario B won't make fans happy, but it's worth considering. Permanent retirement of nighttime parades. If Disneyland's post-70th nighttime strategy leans more heavily into projection-based entertainment, like Tapestry of Happiness, Wondrous Journeys, Fantasmic, and World of Color at DCA, the era of massive LED street parades in Anaheim might be over. Not because the technology or assets aren't there, but because operational realities make it difficult to sustain as year-round offerings. Scenario C is the most forward-looking. A new parade, built from everything learned from Paint the Night and already incorporated into Starlight. Disney didn't clone Paint the Night when they built Starlight in Orlando. Instead, they optimized it around technological and operational efficiency. When Disneyland gets its next generation nighttime parade, it'll likely be inspired by Starlight and the lessons learned around it, much like how Paint the Night provided lessons learned for Starlight. When you put this all together, August 20th won't just be a lights out moment. It signals the beginning of Disneyland's next chapter in nighttime experiences, and we'll have to wait and see what Disneyland After Dark looks like in 2027. So how do you feel about Paint the Night going away again? And what do you think Disney will do in 2027 to replace it? Drop your take in the comments, and if you want more analysis of Disneyland's past, present, and future, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.